All right, this is Mac the Teach Born in V Beach. Take two. We just jacked up the video, so we have to do it again.
A little bit more experience.
Yes. Okay, so now we're looking at Week 7 NFL and Week 8 NCAA football. Now, I got to rehash some of the basically success and failures of the both programs of the last couple weeks. Week 4, really successful in college football. Week 5, I got crushed. What did I try to do in Week 5 and Week 4 is I tried to keep a loosen because I want to try to create more bets. Unfortunately, Week 5, I got killed. I had 33 bets and hit 33%, which just destroys any bankroll, which will actually critique me on that I was betting too many games and so on and so forth.
I just said your unit was too big with how many games you were betting.
Yeah, which apparently was right. And so anyway, what I did in week 6, I tightened it up. Basically, I think I went 6 and 7, so just under 500. Wasn't depressed about that. It's going to happen. Week 7, this past week, really looked good. Honestly, it could have gone easily 7 and 1. The system went 5 and 3, taking into account overtime. It went 6 and 2 without overtime, which is the way I model my system. People will argue about that, but guess what? That's the way it's got to do it. I cannot account for overtime. In the BYU-Arizona game, Arizona was leading, and BYU scored 10 points in the last 4 minutes. Okay, Arizona, and they went in overtime and lost. Arizona was getting 2.5 points, so technically they won in regulation. The other bet I lost was the Army game. They had a blocked field goal with 2 minutes to go. If they make the field goal, it's easily 7 and 1. But again, 5 and 3 I'll take. Financially, 6 and 2 not so bad. NFL, I got destroyed. I've come to realize with the NFL, I'm going to have to be tight. There's no getting around it. The lines are too close in the NFL. A lot of people are using my system for survivor picks, and that's fine with me. This week, there's no picks currently available. So we're going to attack NFL first. Just going to look at the projected numbers for survivor picks, throw out some ideas for you, that type of thing. With that being said, I got my nephew here, Will. He's going to be our guest picker for today. It's the third Saturday in October, so he likes that, and we'll go from there. Okay, so now we're into the NFL. We got a big game tonight. I'm a Steeler fan, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Cincinnati's in shambles. I really think Pittsburgh deals pretty easily tonight. I have them winning by 9. The spread is 5.5. Worth consideration? It's only 5.5, but maybe Vegas knows something we don't. The two picks that really stick out that people are asking me about is the New England-Tennessee game. That could be a nice survivor pick because New England's playing well, Tennessee's in shambles. The other pick is the Chicago game, New Orleans-Chicago. I have it 22-26, and the spread is only 5. But if you're going to pick a team going into Chicago, it's going to be tough, and they're playing pretty well. They beat the Commanders last week, so on and so forth. What do you have? What do you see that you like, don't like, what you would consider picking?
Yeah, so we talked about it once already, but Tennessee pick for the survivor, or New England over Tennessee rather, for the survivor pick is interesting to me. I do think that Mike Vrabel's got them going the right direction. Drake May looks great, but I do not. There's something about an interim head coach in the NFL that sometimes for a week or two just adds some juice. You've seen it. I believe the Raiders had it a couple years ago, and they won a game they definitely had no business doing it. It happens from time to time. You throw some new blood in there, and it just gives a team a little jolt of energy that they didn't have previously. They got a young quarterback, maybe working with a little bit different approach. Kind of helps him get his feet under him. We'll see.
Anytime there's an unknown like that, I try to stay away. I mean, again, I lost my survivor pick. I picked the Chargers over the Giants in Jackson Dart's first start. I was an idiot. Why would I ever do that? It's completely unknown. He's trying to make a splash. And, of course, I got knocked out. So go on. Sorry.
Yeah, my next pick for that, the one I would lean to is Chicago. I know the system's only got them winning by 4 points, which wouldn't hit the spread necessarily, but I believe in Ben Johnson. I believe that he's got a bright future ahead of him. Caleb Williams hasn't looked phenomenal so far, but much better than last season. And at the end of the day, if you're going to be a good, solid head coach in the NFL, if you're going to be a good team in the NFL, you got to win the games you're supposed to win. And I believe in Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears to get to that point. As far as the lines go, my favorite bet this week as far as the NFL is going to be Washington-Dallas over. I know it's set at 55.5 points. I know that's a lot. But as the system's not really picking anything, if you want to have some fun watching football on Sunday, that's going to be a good one to tune into. Neither defense can really do much. Got a lot of age and just kind of a slow defense in Washington. And Dallas, they probably would have been much better had they not traded away one of the best players in the NFL. I know he hasn't put up the stats yet, but when he takes those amount of double teams, it's just they're not as good as they were when he's on the field.
The only problem I have is I really struggle picking the overs in the NFL because you can get beat so easily on those. But Dallas, the last 2 weekends, dude, you could have picked the over and walked away and gone to sleep. I mean, they're giving up all sorts of points. Last week, a guy was joking in the bar saying basically he's a Dallas fan. He says, I'm taking the over every week on them because they just can't stop anybody. And they have real offensive weapons. They're posting points, so it's a double whammy. So I don't disagree with you. My system only has it over by 1.5. The most intriguing game for me is the Los Angeles Rams versus Jacksonville. I have no idea which way that's going. I mean, currently it has 44 points as the total, and the Vegas over/under at 45. I lean towards the over. Something tells me these guys throw some points up. I'm not familiar enough with Jackson's defense, but I do think they post.
If we're talking point spread as well, Tampa Bay and Detroit is very interesting. Detroit, obviously, both teams are very, very, very solid. Tampa Bay, just Baker Mayfield, he's just got ice in his veins. When it comes down to close games, he just has a way of figuring out how to give a little bit extra effort than everybody else on the field. He's not the best athlete in the world, but he has a competitive edge late in the game that not many other players have.
Yeah, I don't know. Detroit's playing well, but I would never give up 5 points to Baker Mayfield at this point. I mean, the spread it has them winning by 4, but I wouldn't touch that. If I'm touching it anyway, I'm taking Tampa and Baker.
Yeah. And the only concern is Tampa Bay's receiver health. I mean, but you saw last week they were dealing with the same situation. No Ibuka left in the middle of the game. No Evans. But I mean, they're just kind of plugging and playing right now. They've got a couple young guys, Tez Johnson and some other dude I had never heard of before last week scored a touchdown. Sterling Shepard, he's a veteran. He's kind of savvy guy.
I didn't even know he was still playing.
Yeah, he's been made his rounds around the NFL.
I see another interesting game that it doesn't seem to my system likes the Indianapolis Los Angeles Chargers. Right now, it has Indy winning by 4. Chargers are giving 1.5 points. Most people say if you're the home team, you're granted 3 points. I'm not sure that that's completely correct, but it has Indy winning by 4. And the Chargers really haven't been that impressive.
Oh, I disagree that the Chargers haven't been that impressive.
They've lost to Jackson Dart, or maybe
they lost to Jackson Dart. But like we said earlier, sometimes you get a little bit of that. You're just salty.
I'm just salty. I mean, you're right. That knocked me out of Survivor League.
I really believe in Coach Harbaugh over there. As a Colts fan, actually, I would not have predicted what Daniel Jones has been able to do this year. I think that's going to be a really good game. 1.5 is really close. It wouldn't shock me if it goes either way, but obviously I'll be cheering for Indianapolis on Sunday.
Okay. Moving on to college football. It is the third week in October, and most of the people in college football probably don't even know what that means.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, maybe old school guys do. If you do not know, that was a big rivalry between Alabama and Tennessee, and this was back when I think you had Neyland and Bear Bryant. Is that right?
No, actually, there was a little bit of overlap. So General Robert Neyland, one of the best coaches, not given enough credit for how good of a coach he was. Bear Bryant will even tell you. He said in an interview one time, how does it feel to be one of the best? How does it feel to be the best coach in the history of college football? And he told him to go ask General Robert Neyland.
Okay.
General Robert Neyland never lost a game to Bear Bryant. Granted, most of those games were while he was at Kentucky, but still, he never lost a game to Bear Bryant.
That's impressive. Well, this week we're dedicating this to my brother, his father, who passed on Mother's Day this past year. This was a big time of year for him because he always talked about third Saturday in October. I always gave him shit about it because a rivalry only exists if both teams are relevant. And the truth is, Tennessee hasn't been relevant for a while. But the last couple of years, they are live. Okay, and it's good to see them back because honestly, they have a phenomenal fan base. I've seen some games, saw some games with my brother there, saw him lose to Florida multiple times. Yeah, but they have a good fan base, and it's good to see them relevant. And it's going to be a tough matchup. So, with that being said, we're going to jump to that game first, and Will's going to try to give me his unbiased opinion.
Yeah, unbiased opinion. Going down to Tuscaloosa scares me. We haven't won in Tuscaloosa since the early 2000s. Haven't won in just being on the road. If this game was in Neyland Stadium, I would be significantly more confident. One of the best home teams in the country, but Josh Heupel and them boys have had some issues on the road. One thing to look out for is Jam Miller's health, the star running back at Alabama. He went out of the Missouri game last week with a concussion.
So they don't have a backup that's good?
They've got guys, but they're definitely significantly. When he came back in the middle of the season, a couple weeks in, because he started the week on the season on the shelf, they just weren't able to control the clock the way that they have been in the past couple weeks with him healthy. So if he's on the field, Alabama, I could see Alabama covering.
Okay, so
if he's not,
okay,
and they're not able to control the clock, control the possessions, I do think Tennessee covers.
Okay, so right now we got a 27-38, which basically 11-point spread. Vegas has given Alabama -8, and obviously Bama is playing really well right this second. They played Missouri, and it was a back and forth matchup, but Missouri's no joke. And so when I look at that, I'm like, okay, yeah, you struggle with Missouri, but Missouri probably is a top 10 team right this second. So with that being said, I don't know if I take – in truth, I stay away from this bet altogether. I mean, because I feel like Bama could do exactly what my system says, but Tennessee could show up too. I mean, 8's a lot of points.
It could also be one of those games that the final score, just because Alabama's at home, looks a lot worse than it actually is. I mean, just looking at this, it could be one of those where Tennessee's down 27-31 going into the late fourth quarter, and Ty Simpson just throws a bomb to Mr. Bernard down there, Jeremy Bernard, and just puts the dagger in our hearts.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, had Tennessee plus 21, and it was like 2 minutes to go, and I somehow I lost that game, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They gave up 2-3 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes or whatever it was. I was ready to jump through the phone of my brother. I was like, you guys can't hold anything? Okay, jumping to the top. We're going to skip a lot of the earlier games. Some have already been played. One game's tonight. I think Tulsa, East Carolina. Both those guys can post. So I would not – mine has 56-54.5. This system's really tight right this second, so it's not picking a whole lot of games. So on that one, actually, if I'm leaning, I'm definitely taking the over. The first pick, however, is Louisville-Miami. I think 53.5 points is a lot of points for this matchup. I mean, my system projects it at 42. It says take the under. I like the under in that game. I can see that hitting.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all. Miami's got a elite defense. They've always been good on in their front seven, especially last year. Their issue was in the secondary, and they seem to address that very well through the portal, and they're producing all over the place. My only concern would be Carson Beck. That offensive line, he's been slinging the rock this year. He looks like he has the potential to be a Heisman finalist. And then Jeff Brom's offense in Louisville has a tendency to score some points, but it would not shock me at all to see this one go way under.
Yes. One bet we both seem to agree on when we're looking at this is Bill Belichick takes the pipe again this weekend. California's playing. They played really well. It has 28-7. The spread's 10.5. North Carolina's really struggling. You got an opinion? I mean,
they don't seem to want to be on the field right now. They don't want to be in the building. North Carolina seems to have given up. As far as I'm concerned, or even what I've heard, is that the athletic director didn't want Bill Belichick to be there to begin with, but he got bullied into it by the boosters. I don't know how accurate that is. I'm not an insider, but that's just the rumor.
One thing I would say is I think UNC is expecting miracles, and it's not fair. Now, don't get me wrong. If Nick Saban walks in my house to recruit my son, I glow, and I'm like, absolutely. Bill Belichick walks in my house, I'm like, grumpy old man? Maybe, maybe not. Now he can send out his recruiting squad. They can relay Bill Belichick's message and all that type of stuff. He can flash the Super Bowl rings. I will be interested to see if he can appeal to the college football player. But I think you got to give him a chance. I think you got to give him a 3-year window. To blame it on him or his girlfriend or wherever right this second, I don't think that's quite fair.
Uh, if they looked halfway confident or competent, I would agree with you. They just have looked completely outmatched in almost every game that they've played. It just has not looked good in Chapel Hill. I don't think he belongs at the college game. I think he's just kind of, this is a retirement side quest for him. It's this he doesn't belong in Chapel Hill. He doesn't belong in college football. No disrespect to any of you Patriots fans out there. Bill Belichick is a phenomenal coach. I have all the respect for him at the NFL level, and I have all the respect for him as a coach in general. I just don't think I don't think his heart's really in it the way that it needs to be at this point in his life.
Okay. Hey, one team I've actually started to look at recently that I've been a little impressed with is Duke. I've noticed that the NIL is affecting the league in a different way than I thought. You got a lot of teams that actually had the money that are not now willing to invest the money. In the past, Duke had to sell it on, hey, you're going to play here, but there's a high academic environment. Now they actually can pay for players, and Duke's been slinging the ball.
This is fun to watch. That's going to be a great
game. Georgia Tech Duke. I have it at 60 dead on the line with 60-61 with the over-under, but I would not be surprised if that went over. That'd be something I can look at. Vandy LSU, your thoughts? That's right down your down wheelhouse.
It is right in my wheelhouse, but it is one that I'm going to stay away from. LSU doesn't really
you got to commit to something. I mean, all right, okay.
Being in Nashville, we'll see. LSU doesn't have a running game to write home about at all. Garrett Nussmeier has not quite hit expectations this season. Diego Pavia is one of the best competitors we've seen in a while. But LSU on paper has more bodies than Vanderbilt does, and they've got a phenomenal defense, which going into the year and looking at what they did last year, having an incredible defense and a lot of question marks on offense is interesting.
Okay, what I find interesting about Vanderbilt is they're another Duke that cannot afford to buy players. And in previous seasons, let's be honest, they've been laughing stock of the SEC. But now you got these universities that actually have money, high-end universities like Vandy, like Duke, that can buy players, and suddenly the playing field seems to be level. Do you agree?
Yeah, Clark Lee's done a really good job, and one of the arguments I hear all the time about how the transfer portal is ruining college football is, you're not going to be able to get the right culture. If you don't think that you can get a 21-year-old with 3 years of college experience to buy into a culture and to fit into your culture more than an 18-year-old that's also making money and has no college experience, then I don't think you're probably very good at establishing a culture to begin with. Clark Lee's done a phenomenal job at Vanderbilt, and it is fun to see them competitive again, or not again, but just competitive in general.
Honestly, probably close to the first time forever.
Since James Franklin. I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all to see Penn State go back to that Vanderbilt pipeline and go get Clark Lee if they can't get any other massive name like a Signet. Did you see the contract that Signetti got today?
No, I did not.
8 years with like $12 million a year.
I'm curious what the buyout is. They had to lock him up. The guy that wants it the most is that rural guy from Nebraska. He's a Penn State through and through. He's gonna get the job if you put my gun to my head. Okay, Baylor TCU. I find this to be an extremely tough game to pick. I actually like TCU, but I like Baylor too. Baylor was my sleeper team. This is only 3-point spread, and the system seems to like Baylor. I guess we'll see. TCU let me down a couple times this year, but they're a good team. What do you think?
Yeah, so your system kind of picked this, but it filtered it out for whatever reason, and I think it picked the wrong thing in terms of spread versus over-under. You've got it at 73 points. The line is 65.5. It wouldn't shock me at all to see this exceed 80. It's going to be one of those classic Big 12, not a lick of defense, ball flying all over the yard. I like over 65.5 in this one.
Okay, Oklahoma, South Carolina. I mean, it's got basically Oklahoma destroying them and holding South Carolina almost nothing. I did my system picked the Oklahoma Texas game under last week. It was a perfect pick. I mean, those guys, both those teams have legitimate defenses, and I don't know a whole lot about South Carolina, but I would not be surprised if Oklahoma covers the 4.5.
Yeah, South Carolina was kind of a darling going into the season after having a big
Last year.
9-3 last year. They looked like a team that was going to turn some heads. But at the end of the day, they did lose a lot of big time NFL talent on defense, and really only returned three big time players. I mean, one of them hasn't even produced yet, just a freak of an athlete in Nick Harbor. The North Sellers and Dylan Edwards, not a lick of disrespect for them. They are incredible players, both first rounders. But outside of those guys, I don't really know what South Carolina is going to bring to the table. Oklahoma, they looked underwhelming last week against Texas. I'm not convinced that John Mateer's hand was fully ready to go yet. Their defense is still solid. I mean, only 23 points. But Oklahoma, I do think is gonna take this one and run.
Do you think this forces? I mean, there's two real candidates right now for Virginia Tech, and that's James Franklin and Beamer. Do you think this forces Beamer's hand to say, "Hey, man, maybe I should jump ship. I could go back to my dad's alma mater, basically as a coach. I mean, I'd be welcome there. I've established a coaching history at South Carolina that's going to allow me to grab some players and take them to Tech."
I think James Franklin ends up at Virginia Tech. I think that's the perfect hire for them, actually.
He's good at building programs.
Yeah, and Beamer, I think he's very dead set on kind of creating his own legacy. I think he likes where he's at in Columbia.
Okay.
I don't think he wants to come into Virginia Tech and have the expectation of being Frank Beamer. I think he wants to be his own coach, and I think Frank would support him in that as well.
Okay, that's let's see. We're going to jump down the line a little bit. I mean, there's some interesting bets. I got Toledo of Kent State 47-0. Worth a look, obviously. But let's go to the next bet. I actually I like this bet. I've seen Ohio play quite a bit. They seem to deliver. Now you have to understand in the state of Ohio, there's real talent. High school football in the state of Ohio is legit. Now, obviously, the top tier teams they bleed Buckeye blood. Buckeye blood. Would I screwed that up? Anyway, but that means the 4-star and 3-star. A lot of times they like to stay in state, and so they end up at Toledo, Miami of Ohio, and it's real talent. I'm not surprised. Northern Illinois, I don't know enough about them, but I like the bet. I'm taking Ohio minus 12.
I think it's fair. I don't know much about Northern Illinois, and in terms of roster, I don't know much about Ohio. But they always, it's kind of, you know what you're going to get. They're going to be one of the best teams in the MAC every year. They're gonna put out like a couple guys into the NFL, kind of lower level draft picks every year. They're well coached, they're disciplined, and they kind of tap into that Ohio pipeline that's a little bit underrated in terms of football states.
Okay, now we're looking at Texas State. Marshall, that's not your thing, right? Or is it?
Yeah, you don't want to hear me talk about that one at all. I can't.
I actually thought Marshall wasn't that bad, but the system's saying take Texas State, give up the 2.5 points. So I'm just going to run with the system. This next bet, I am a big fan of. I know Arkansas stayed with Tennessee, but Texas A&M's playing good ball. It has beaten them by what's that, 19, and you're giving up 7.5. I don't like the hook. Obviously, I prefer to be somewhere in the 6.5 range, but I think Texas A&M's ready to roll, and maybe Arkansas. They did have a game against Tennessee. Maybe they, shot their wad on that one.
Yeah, Bob Petrino he's fun. He can put some decent offenses out there. I think just the talent gap between Texas A&M and Arkansas is too big. They look so balanced; they can win in so many different ways, and maybe because they can win in different ways, this is a little bit closer than one might expect. But I do like Texas A&M to cover against Arkansas pretty easily.
Okay, the next bet: Ohio State, Wisconsin under. Not a huge fan of. Wisconsin can't do much, but they give up points. And the reality is the system has a 24-0. Ohio State's going to score more than 24. Do they put on the brakes after they get to 38 and keep it below 41.5? Possibly. Does Wisconsin defense show up? Possibly. But Ohio State could score 56 points here.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if Wisconsin gets into the double digits. If Ohio State wants to, they'll cover by themselves on the over. The question is whether or not they want to.
Now, they are the away team, and sometimes you put on the brakes. But 41.5, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'd touch that.
yeah, they could, if they want to, they can get 42 points against Wisconsin in the first half. It just depends on how much of their hand they want to show and how hard they go and whether or not they just kind of coast in the second half or not.
Okay, the Wyoming Air Force game, I am a big fan of the over. I mean, Air Force has given up a ton of points and ton of points to meaningless teams. I'm not sure how good Wyoming is, but Air Force posts and they give up. Basically, the last 2 or 3 games have all been in the 60s. You're getting it at 58.5. I take that. I'm not sure I take the away plus, but I'm going to stick with the system because I don't know any better. So I'm taking the away plus with Wyoming. Any thoughts?
I don't know much about Air Force or Wyoming, but that sounds like a classic Air Force team to me.
Okay, the Memphis game, I do like that game. UAB's played tougher opponents. They played Tennessee. They played Army. Army's not bad defensively. And so some of these numbers are skewed. I don't like giving up 21.5 points. I have it at 31. Do I take that game? 21.5 is a lot, but Memphis is typically legit. I think I'm going to run with it.
Yeah, Memphis is a great Group of 5 team. They're a team that could play their way into the Group of 5 spot in the playoff. Wouldn't shock me to see Memphis just dominate that.
Okay, game. Just a couple more games that we picked, and then we're going to go to our favorite picks. Southern Miss, Louisiana has it over just by a bit. Oregon, Rutgers. I don't see that's one of my favorite games of the weekend. Oregon's going to bounce back, and they're going to go for blood. I really do think they wax the floor with Rutgers. You're only giving up 16. 16 is not that much in college football. I mean, that's 2 touchdowns and field goal. I think they easily covered that. And so I do like that bet.
Yeah, Oregon's going to come focused. I don't think Dan Lanning's going to let them have a hangover at all. They're going to come focused, ready to play Rutgers, and I think they're going to cover easily that 16 points.
Okay, the Penn State-Iowa game. We talked about that a little offline. What do you like about that game?
James Franklin being gone, Drew Aller out. I mean, this is just the classic Iowa slam the under. 38.5 points. There was a couple years ago, Iowa over-unders were getting down in like the 31, 30, 29 range even on occasion. And I think this is kind of going to get back to that eventually. They're not going to be able to put 37 points on everybody. Wisconsin is not good at all. And Penn State's still got guys on defense. I mean, they got players who are going to want to put some film on.
You like that under even at 30.5. I'm 10 points under. So, I mean, if my system's coming 10 points under and it's that low, system likes the under too. It just is too scared to pick it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Okay, one of the games I'm looking at the Texas Kentucky game. Texas obviously took it to Oklahoma this weekend. I'm giving 12. I have it up by 25. It's like, man, I wish my system were picking this game. I would agree with it. Any thoughts by you?
Kentucky blows. Arch Manning on the road.
Is that really what you think?
Yeah, Kentucky blows.
Okay.
Texas
they were
on the
good
road.
like 2 years ago. What happened to them?
Mark Stoops just doesn't seem to have the same juice that he used to.
Okay.
He almost took the Texas A&M job 2 years ago, and they just haven't been able to. And he was on the plane. He was getting off the plane in Aggieland. That's the story, anyways. And they decided to pull the offer. They just didn't get the deal done. And ever since then, Kentucky's just been on a downward spiral. It's just a matter of time before he's out of there. The only thing is Arch Manning confident enough in his own abilities to go and win on the road?
After beating Oklahoma, he might have gotten some new juice.
He might have gotten some new juice for sure. But in the same breath, is Kentucky Stadium even halfway full? I don't know the answer to that. I know the college basketball rankings just came out. They're probably kind of shifting their focus already.
Okay, I get you. I mean, so I'm looking at the Pittsburgh-Syracuse game. That's 11 points. Both my parents went to Pitt, and they got this new guy, Mason. He's the real deal. I will be interested to see if he stays. As far as I know, he got turned down by every MAC team that he applied to. So he owes one to Pitt. and he's playing, and he's getting starting time as a freshman. So I hope he sticks around. But the Dome is a tough place to play. I mean, I remember going there when I was at West Point, and they're just the stands are on, or the fans are on top of you. There's like no margin for error between the field and the fans, and I wouldn't touch it. The USC game is one of the most intriguing of the weekend to me. USC Notre Dame. My system has them going winning by 3, and it has Notre Dame -8. Any thoughts on that one?
USC Notre, that's going to be a great one. Notre Dame is going to come very motivated. They don't have a lot left on their schedule. They've already got 2 losses, both very, very tight, less than 1-score games against teams that are looking like locks for the playoff as long as Texas A&M doesn't Texas A&M.
No, I mean that's a fair statement.
And at the end of the day, this is one of the last chances for them to really show the committee that they are a big-time playoff team, and I think they have a chance to do it. USC is great, no disrespect to them, but it wouldn't shock me if Notre Dame tries to go and put some style points on them this weekend.
Oh, I apologize. I completely skipped over a game that I absolutely love. I watched Arizona State play the other day, and it cost me. The Levitt guy is real. I mean, he's fun to watch. He carried that team. He was out last week. I don't know if he's starting this week or not, but Texas Tech is no joke. I have them winning 46-18. You're giving up 11.5 points. They can easily cover that. I would definitely put Texas Tech game in there. I might even put that in my top 4 picks. So don't forget about Texas Tech. Another pick that I really like, jumping down. Well, do you want to hit Missouri Auburn? That's in your wheelhouse.
Oh, we can hit Missouri Auburn. Auburn's keeping games close with teams that they theoretically on paper should be outmatched by.
I don't understand the -2. I don't understand the -2. Not the way Missouri played against Bama.
But that's one of those lines that it's almost so weird that you have to kind of stay away from it. I remember there was a couple years ago when Kenneth Walker was at Michigan State. Michigan State was like top 5 in the country, and they went in undefeated to like Wake Forest or something stupid, and Wake Forest was favored by 2 points, won by like 14. I was like, what is going on here? So sometimes Vegas kind of just knows things that nobody else does.
And you think this is one of those times?
It could be. I mean, maybe even. I don't think Missouri's going to lose this game. I don't.
Okay, well, jump into the last 2 that I want to touch on. Utah BYU. I've seen BYU play. Not impressed. I mean, yes, they have some big white guys like they normally do, and people from the islands. I get all that. But they weren't that impressive against ECU when I spent in Utah legit. The spread is 3.5. I take Utah all day long. I also take Florida State. I mean, I know I'm giving 17.5 up to Stanford. Florida State is on the rise. Yes, last weekend they lost to Pitt, but Pitt's formidable. And so, yes, they've had some tough games they've lost, but I put Florida State in my top picks.
Yeah, Florida State. I mean, Utah, you touched on that one first. I think they're a phenomenal team. Kenny Dillingham really knows what he's doing over there. They were very injured last season. I think they're bouncing back. I think they're going to end up playing Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship. And I know that Texas Tech already beat them once, but I think that spread's going to be a little bit tighter than what you might envision based on what the outcome of that first game. I think Utah handles BYU pretty easily.
Okay, so give me your you want to go first, top 4, or you want me to?
I can go first.
Okay, go ahead. Fire away.
Don't
choose mine.
I know we're probably both picking Oregon.
Yes,
I mean,
we're both,
so
okay. We got
I'm not
one.
trying to steal it from you.
Okay,
Oregon,
we both got Oregon. Now we're down to 3. Go ahead. What do you got?
Give me Iowa and Penn State under. I know your system didn't pick it, but I just think that's the lock of the week. And then
I know you like one of them. You like the Belichick pick.
Yeah, I like the Belichick pick. I think
is that one of your top?
That's got to be top 3.
Okay, yeah, so you got Cali, you got the under, and you get one more.
I got the under, and so Oregon doesn't count. We're throwing that out.
Well, that's one of your 4. Well, we both got that one, so you get 3 total, and you got 2 already picked.
Oh, okay. Then we kind of skipped over this game. But this is just the value pick. Give me Mississippi State money line. The spread's at -10 for Florida in the Swamp. I understand.
That's one of your top 4, though?
In terms of value, At -10, I don't know if anybody's ever
21.
has
I have it
watched these two teams
21-20, so
play.
my system agrees with them
Florida's
by a
looked good
point.
one time, and yes, it was in the swamp. But I think Billy Napier's on his way out. I think Mississippi State is a quality team. I think Jeff Lebby's is. I mean, maybe I'm biased because they took us to overtime, but I think Mississippi State beats Florida in the swamp, and Billy Napier's not allowed back into the locker room.
Okay. If I'm going to pick, I'm going with a lot of favorites. Maybe I'm getting convinced into it based on past history, but I am taking Utah plus or minus the 3.5 points. I am taking Oregon. I think that's a solid pick. And then I'm going to end up with two Texas teams. I'm taking Texas A&M and I'm taking Texas Tech. I mean, both of those teams. I'm a little more worried about Texas A&M than I am Texas Tech. I was questioning my pick on Florida State, but I decided to take Texas A&M instead of them. So, with that being said, we got 4 picks. We got 11 bets out here. We're going to have to wait and see. I will be tracking what my 39 bets look like because my guess is my 39 bets have a lot of the stuff that we would want to bet, but it's too tight to bet. Hopefully, next week it's looking at 20, 25 games. All right. With that being said, this week 7 NFL, we're saying goodbye. This is Will and Dave, Mac the Teach, 1V Beach. Week 7, week 8, college football. Signing out. Hopefully,
Been
it
a
took.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.